This video is brought to you by 86. Pick up video game apparel from Skullgirls and Monster Hunter World. 86.com slash question mark AFF equals 4 and let them know that we sent you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Mission Star Podcast, where I, your host, will talk about what's today's topic, what's today's news, what's going on in the gaming industry. Now, as you might notice, the past 2 weeks, it's just been me talking about what's going on. Just to let you know, schedules are out of place right now for a lot of us. And with the Halloween weekend coming up this weekend, I have something special in mind for next week, unless there's something big or huge that might have happened that I have to talk about. But the group will return, hopefully, and then the week afterwards. But in the meantime, you got me, so for better or for worse. It is Friday, so I thought with this topic for this week, a little lighthearted on this story, but also very exciting at the same time. So this is a report off of TechRadar.com, written by Emma Boyle. Capcom has plans to revive some of its dormant franchises. Capcom has been riding high on some big success recently with Devil May Cry 5, Monster Hunter World, and Resident Evil 2 Remake, all receiving critical praise and selling well. Hoping to build on the success, the publisher has said that it's looking to bring back some of its still viable franchises that have been dormant for a while, in addition to making the most of its current fan favorites. This news comes from Capcom's 2019 financial briefing for investors, in which the company laid out its intentions to continue to strengthen our development structure and promote further systemization to grow our pipeline of new titles geared toward the global market, by both maximizing revenue from current core IP and actively looking to utilize dormant IP. The franchises Capcom is looking to bring back have, of course, not been revealed just yet. Whatever they are, though, Capcom will be sure that they are developed in line with the highest stringent world-class quality standards that the publisher believes led to the success of Monster Hunter World, Devil May Cry 5, and Resident Evil 2. Of course, for those slightly beleaguered, I cannot pronounce that word, by the seemingly incessant dredging up of games gone by, Capcom's future will not be entirely about remakes and revivals. The report also makes it clear that for long-term growth, there is a plan to develop new brands as well. So, Capcom comes out and says, hey, we're doing well. Resident Evil 7, head out of the park. Monster Hunter World, just absolute dynamite right now. Resident Evil 2 Remake has been fantastic, and Devil May Cry 5 has been a badass game. They have been in a roll, except for their fighting game division, because Street Fighter 5 is okay right now. It has finally made that success that they wanted to, but it took them 2 years. And Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite did not sell well at all, amongst other things wrong with that game. So now it brings up the question of they want to bring new IPs and old back to the fold. And if there's any other company out there that has a distinct or a good amount of library that you can choose from, Capcom has a ton of it. And as you see behind me, one of the games that people been, I guess, wanting for. See, here's the thing. Darkstalkers, to me, like, they did put out an HD remake years ago. Did not sell well. I don't know if it's whether because of the game netcode was not great, or nobody didn't really care. So it didn't sell well. So it was kind of, that was a message to a lot of Capcom people. It's like, oh, I guess they don't want a new Darkstalkers. But there's still a groundswell of people who support the game and still want a new Darkstalkers. So I'd be very, very curious to see if they take a chance on that. I'll be very curious to see if what way a new Darkstalkers game proper would look like. There was even word out today, and given this is a grain of salt, and a little bias here, but Mike Z from Lab Zero Games did tweet out that hey, and I'm paraphrasing here, hey, would it be cool if my team or Lab Zero worked on the new Darkstalkers in the same animation style that they've been doing for the past 2 games? Like, that would be dope. Like, straight up, just like we don't have that many 2D animation games to begin with, so like having one would be freaking awesome. The next game behind me, obviously one of my childhood games I played when I was young, Power Stone 2, and I would love to see a new Power Stone. I don't think I'll be playing it as much, but I'll pop it in just like, hey, new Power Stone. I'll be very curious to see what they would do with a new Power Stone game. Honestly, is definitely one of those other games that people really like to see come back. Power Stone 3 would be an interesting thing they could do, and hey, I would like to see another Power Stone. That'd be great. Another game that was been mentioned, I think that a lot of people, and myself, are kind of curious to see how it goes, but Dino Crisis. We have RE2 Remake. Now think of that with dinosaurs. The problem with that is, like, Dino Crisis was a cult hit. It got really weird when it got into space. That's when they got weird and it didn't really sell well. So I'd be very curious to see if they bring back Dino Crisis. I think it'd be pretty cool. For those who don't know, Dino Crisis is just pretty much, think of Resident Evil, but they're all dinosaurs. Basically that. And you're a female protagonist with red hair. So, yeah. The other one of the other games I kind of want to point out that I think, I played. It was like 10 years ago. No. It was in 2011. It came out in 2011. It was a fantastic remake. The company at the time, Grin, worked on it, and it was the game I'm talking about is Bionic Commando Rearmed. It was hard as hell, but man, that game was a lot of fun. The soundtrack was that soundtrack was so good. Like, I have it on my computer actually. It's a really good soundtrack, and the game is really, really good. It's really hard, but it's good. So I mean, Bionic Commando Rearmed was definitely one of my favorites, and be interesting to see what they do with a new Bionic Commando. Like, would you keep it 2D or would you make it 3D? Because the 3D one was okay, but it did lead to possibly one of the worst, if not the worst, ending to any video game. I'm going to spoil it here just because it's dumb, and I feel like everybody should know if you haven't already. This is to Bionic Commando. I want to say it's 2006, or maybe later on. But it was it's an actual like 3D full-on game that Capcom did make, and the story beat or the reveal at the very end, because he has a bionic arm, like he swings around with it and he punch people and whatnot. It revealed that because in the game you're looking for a wife, and it turns out that your wife was with you the entire time. It was in your arm. Your arm is your wife. Yeah, it was. That was the bigger twist, and man, that was a bad ending. That was horrible. So, Bionic Commando. I'm very curious to see if they keep it 2D or they keep it 3D. Like, that'd be another series I'd love to see come back. If it's 2D, well, I'm open to it. Whatever. Another game I'd like to see that I'd be interested in seeing, and we have seen some already we've seen like a remake or not a remaster, but just like an HD up-res of one of the older games. But Yuusha, that was a series that went on 1, 2, and 3. Like, it came out, and it was an interesting take because it was definitely action. It's also kind of horror-ish, so it was almost like again, going to Resident Evil theme, Resident Evil, but in your samurais. But you have the main character has this soul kind of collecting thing he has in its arm. It's almost like it's almost like Devil May Cry. Well, maybe not really. It kind of is in some capacity, but it's a very interesting take on kind of what that genre was. And I'd like to see what that would look like. Onimusha would be is another game that I think would be. I don't think that people are really pining for, but I would personally like to see how it goes. And I'm just gonna go off the list here because I made a list here of what other games I actually would like to see. So yeah, those are on the top of my head, and again, Capcom has a wide range of games that they can draw from, and they say they can make some new IPs as well. So I can see, another game. Okay, so here's a game that is a badass. You don't play as much in the game, but it still looks badass. Is Asura's Wrath. Man, that game is so badass looking. It was awesome. Man, I would love to see that character back. He's one of the most requested characters to come back in any fighting game, but just in general. Like, that series was over the top. It was just anime as hell, but it was just super cool. So I would love to see another Asura's Wrath, or just, I don't know. I'm not sure, a remake, honestly, but just something, maybe a sequel. I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna do a sequel, you have to re-release Asura's Wrath prior to that, but they could do that. Hopefully. But I would like to see Asura's Wrath. That would be a freaking awesome thing I love to see. I would love to see them bring that back. But outside of that, as I bring up the list of games that I put down for just to show behind me. The other thing was mentioned when I was looking up for what other games they could potentially bring back, and one of the games I've been hearing a lot about is Okami. I got Okami 2 and Beautiful Joe, which I never played Beautiful Joe. I know it's a good game. It came out in the GameCube era. Yeah, it was people pining for that as well. Beautiful Joe is another one that's people wanting to see. I'd be very interested to see how that looks like. I wonder. It's interesting. What would that be in the future? But I think that'd be another game that could definitely be interesting to see what Capcom does with that and see what a modern day Beautiful Joe would look like. And let's just look at that. I think I covered everything I want to see. Pretty much. There was one or two games I did see that did get me thinking a little bit. So okay, here's the thing. As I said before, the fighting game division in Capcom has not been the greatest. It hasn't been since year 3 of Street Fighter V, and hasn't been when Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite came out. Everything else around Capcom, is doing fantastic. It's just the fighting game division just is not working, and nothing is going right for them. So I saw the list. I went down the list of what potential games they can have or what they can do. Then I came across Capcom vs. SNK. Now, for those who don't know, Capcom vs. SNK games, where it's a I almost want to go away. You get to choose 3 people, and in some cases I think 2 or 1 if you set a handicap right. Correct me if I'm wrong, by the way, in the comments if I'm wrong on that. But it is a game where you can choose between any Capcom character within the Street Fighter universe, or any SNK character within the SNK, I want to say King of Fighters universe, which is highly one of the, at least in the fighting game community, it is highly a respected and fun game for a lot of people. And an SNK or Capcom vs. SNK 3 would be insane. SNK is doing very well right now. They have been hitting out of the park with Samurai Showdown right now. They're looking to expand to other games. They are making another King of Fighters. They it'll be very interesting to see what, if that ever happened. I think modern day Capcom versus SNK, I think you would more than likely, it would be the characters from Street Fighter V, and it would be probably the characters from King of Fighters, like 15 or 14. I say it's one of those two. And maybe Sam Show, maybe depends. But I think that's probably the longest shot. Honestly, the longest shot I can think of is, I mean, when it comes to like games that people would like to see, a Capcom versus SNK. Like that's gonna be the longest shot I can think of. Obviously, there are a ton of other games out there that Capcom has under the belt. Like Rival Schools is another one that people would love to see come back. Not to mention, I mean, obviously we got Mega Man series that are like they're all good and fine, but I'm sure there's a bunch of other games I cannot think at the moment that people would love to see come back. If you are watching and you want to, tell me what game are you excited for? Like, what if there's any Capcom IP that it's been long dormant and you want to come back? Let me know, because yeah, I want to know what you guys think about that. But personally, I said my piece as far as like which ones I want to see come back. I am I'm excited. Capcom's in a very good place. I cannot wait to see what they do in the next coming years. Let's see some new IPs. Let's see some new remakes. And yes, use those dormant IPs they've been sitting on for years. Like centuries. Well, not centuries. Come on, it's not centuries, but more like decades. I would throw out this other one just because I love playing it, and there was another puzzle game that they did do, but they didn't do on mobile. But a proper console, was it Puzzle Fighter? Street Fighter Puzzle Fighter, I think it was called. No, wait. Let me get this right. Street Fighter Puzzle Fighter. Okay, Street Fighter 2 Puzzle. Okay, so there is a Street Fighter Puzzle 2 Turbo. Okay, so yes, give me another one of those. Those were a lot of fun. So that's what I like to see, and that's something that I think would be pretty cool. So yeah, all eyes are on Capcom, and the Capcom right now is just whatever they make is gold. Whatever they make is just like right now, just been really good currently. But that's gonna do it for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this past week, or past 2 weeks of me talking about various gaming news and topics. And if you like what you see, again, not to be that YouTuber, but hit the subscribe button, hit that bell twice, maybe 3 times at this point. And yeah, and if you want to just listen to the whole thing, we have our podcast, which actually by the time you're watching this, it will be up to date. So you'll be checking out the podcast at missionstar.tv in the podcast section under Mission Star Podcast, or under Anchor and any other podcast services around the globe. So there you go, guys. You can have at it and listen to my thoughts. And again, probably next week I have something special for next week in terms of like what's going to be going on in the podcast tubes. But a week after, hopefully the whole team will be back. Reason being for not this weekend, or not next week, because this weekend is Halloween weekend. Parties are afoot. And yeah, I don't think we're all going to be in the right mind to talk about games. If you know what I mean. Anyway, so with that being said, sure, let's roll. Let's roll the outro. Only because it's an outro, but it's also outdated. So bear with me on that when it comes to that video. But with that being said, thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time.